Hello there, Spug Nation. Oh my goodness. It has been weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm so sorry. I left y'all out on an island just waiting for me to come back. And why not on a day like today? First off, let me say that these are not the views of the United States Department of War, Department of the Air Force, or the United States Space Force. They're mine, and mine alone, but there are so many people out there who are just like me, who get really super freaking excited when it comes to Halloween. And you know, it's that beginning of those winter holidays, sure, right? Like here in America anyway. I don't know how it is, you know, around the world, because we have Thanksgiving in November, and then we have all of the religious holidays that happen in December. And I'm wanting to make it a point that I want to also cover those, but that of course comes at a later date, okay? Because this podcast is an inclusive podcast. And that's one reason that these views are mine and mine alone. Because your boy here is woke AF. Okay. So let me get started on this, because everything starts somewhere, right? Halloween is no different. Halloween hasn't always been called Halloween. Just like everything else, it takes on these little vibes due to people who need books in order to know what's right from wrong. I'm not saying that you're a bad person if that's you. I'm just saying that once the Roman Catholics got a hold of everything, they kind of like BASTARDIZED it and everything else. So, hey, they even did it with the Bible. So, there's that. Moving forward, let's get off of that. So, let's talk about Halloween, though. So, it originated in Ireland, UK, northern France. So, of course, it's the end of the harvest, right? So, you get all of your crops together, your families together, whatever, and you celebrate the end of the harvest because you've been toiling all summer in the heat and everything, and it's just good to, you know, like party a little bit, celebrate, and you also know what's to come, and that's the darker times, because the sun starts setting a little bit earlier and rising a little bit later. So due to this, so Samhain it's the festival that was created, and many pagans believe that the night before, so today, 31 October, it's when the veil between the living and the dead becomes thin. So you see this in other cultures as well. Like when the Romans took it over, they have two different festivals. So Feralia, commemoration of the dead, and then Pomona, or the festival of Pomona, goddess of fruit trees, and it merged into the Celtic calendar under Roman rule. Then the church established All Saints Day also on the 1st of November, All Souls Day on the 2nd, to absorb and replace pagan traditions. So they didn't, that's just what they did. They just replaced a bunch of stuff and then made it whatever, just like white people tend to do with history. So anyway, but what's really cool is when other cultures grab onto that new culture, I guess you could say, and do something different with it. Like, look what Mexico does. I think Los Dias de los Muertos is one of the coolest ways to celebrate the souls of the lives that were lost. People will leave an ofrenda in their house somewhere. In case you don't know what that means, it's like a dresser or some sort of table, and they'll put like pictures and candles and candies and like that family member's favorite foods, or however many family members they have that have passed on. And what they'll do is they'll go out into the city and they'll party with their living friends, and they'll dress up with painted faces and things like that, and hand out sugar skulls. I really want to celebrate this one day. It is so freaking neat. So while they're gone, I believe they have to light the candles. So to lead the family member to that area so that they can, of course they can't eat it because they're dead, but it allows them to at least see that their family has been thinking of them and things like that. So they'll get to like be amongst the comforts of the house on their own, and it's just amazing. So as a former Wiccan, one thing that we would like to do is, well, obviously it's good luck to catch a leaf before it falls from a tree. There are other things that Wiccans do that I've never participated in, and by that I mean you can jump and dance around the fire naked, and I just, no, not my game, especially with how cold it tends to be on the night of Halloween. Even in the South, it's pretty cold. But no, what I was kidding at is seances. With the veil being like as thin as it is on these two nights, so October 31st into November 1st, it's the best time to commune with spirits. If you are so inclined, like if you're too scared, then obviously don't do it. Or if you don't know what you're doing, we've all seen way too many horror flicks with teenagers and things like that who think, oh well, I want to try and commune with my mom because blah blah blah. Yeah, don't do that, because you're opening it up to something that you won't understand, that you won't be able to get rid of. You have to have a guide. You have to have somebody there who is intelligent when it comes to the spirit world, who is like educated on what it is that you're actually conversing with. And it's all by feel, right? So you know how like you walk into a room and you feel like you shouldn't be there? Well, that's how it's like whenever you come across a dark entity. And you shouldn't do that alone. You should definitely have one other person, because it can feed you with more fear, and once it senses the fear, then it has you. So the smartest thing to do is to totally just, have a partner, and if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt to have a total of 5. Okay, so let me tell you about the pinnacle and the difference between a pentacle and a pentagram. So a pentagram is a 5-sided star. The pentacle is a 5-sided star with a circle around it, and the tip of the star is pointed upward, not down. So down satanic, up Wicca. Generally speaking. Could just be a star, David. Anyway, it's a 5-point star. It's 5-point star. Okay. Fire, earth, air, water, spirit. And you want to have the correct signs at each of the things. So if you know somebody that is better with fire magic, then they get the fire spot. If you know somebody that's better with earth magic, they get the earth spot. Air magic, air spot. Water magic, water spot. And then the spirit sits at the top. And I did say sits. And it's, what do you call it? Crisscross applesauce. To be a little friendly. So, what you'll do is you can hold hands, sure, but you don't have to, because what are you doing? You're doing spirit magic, right? With a K. Magick. And man, this episode's getting really weird. Okay, so what you do is you clear your mind. And this goes back to what Dina and I were talking about weeks ago. You have to have that clarity. So what you're doing is you are focusing on nothing. Okay? Like just light. Okay? You're just picturing light inside your head. And you don't worry about, like, am I letting my friends down by blah, 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 blah. No, you don't think about anything. Okay? And then, once everybody is together, you can feel it. You can feel the presence of all 5 of you. Then you can actually, I'd say, commune with the dead. But, the easiest way to talk about it is talk about whatever that spirit wants to talk about. I've seen a lot of ghost adventures and things like that. They seem to only focus on what they want to talk about, and they want to be in control of that situation. Guess what, honey? You are not in control of the dead. You are a live person. You can't control a spirit. You can't make it say what you want it to say. That's why they go away. Instead, you talk about what they want to talk about. Say, is there a reason that you are showing yourself to us today? Is there something that you would like to say? And is there something that you've left undone? Is there something that you would like us to do? You don't have to get all weird with it. And you definitely don't have to get vicious with it. And you know what's really interesting? Is you could be that way every day with actual living human beings, and it would make you such a better person. If you actually talked to somebody and said, hey, how are you doing today? What's going on with you that you would like to fix? I think the world would be a better place. Man, it gives me some ideas for the last 4 bits of spug that I want to talk about. However, there are a few more things that I wanted to mention, because it's very interesting how whenever white people take on let's call it appropriation. Whenever white people decide to appropriate holidays or whatever, some of them demonize it when they see other people from different skin colors, ethnicities, genders, reveling in it. And genders especially, talking about those like the slutty vampire and all that kind of stuff costumes. Like, it's always been kind of a sexy holiday because there's always been like wine and mead and things like that. So yeah, I mean, there is nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with putting on a costume and being something else for a day. It's normal. Because sometimes it gets old being that same person all the time. Especially when the person that you are is the facade. Let that sink in for a second there. So as I was saying earlier about Ireland, Scotland, UK, it has direct roots in Samhain. Traditions like guising, so costumes, house to house. Turnip lanterns, instead of pumpkins, it was turnips at the beginning. You know, I've probably heard that before. And bonfires. I mean, how else are you going to stay warm when you're dancing naked? Okay, United States and Canada, modern Halloween. So you got your costumes, your trick-or-treating, your parties, pumpkin carving, haunted houses. Those are so much fun things to do. As long as you're safe with all of that. There's ways that, you know, things could go bad for any of those things. When I was a kid, people were putting like razor blades in apples and stuff like that. So you just got to be careful, especially if you're a parent. Make sure you're taking care of the kids. But I think we've gotten away from the trick piece. Like, I see a lot of treating these days, and I don't see a lot of tricking. And with the amount, with like how high grocery prices are, I would love to see a lot of tricking and see, you know, videos and stuff on the internet of what happened, you know, in the night's trickery. Whether that's, you know, a kid doing a karate kick or, you know, whatever it might be. Maybe they do, like, I saw these kids a couple years ago that had Transformers costumes. That would be so lit. Just, like, be cute with it. You don't have to throw eggs. Eggs are expensive too, guys. Toilet paper too. No egging or toilet papering. You hear me, Auburn? Roll Tide. I already talked about Los Dias de los Muertos, Days of the Dead, November 1st and 2nd. Altars, calaveras. Okay. Japan. They have a pop culture costume phenomenon. Shibuya. Is that what is it called? Shibuya Crossing? And they do cosplay? Okay, so Shibuya Crossing is like the most famous intersection in Tokyo. It's like our Times Square. So that's pretty cool. I guess they get together and do cosplay and stuff like that. I think Japanese culture, when it comes to costume wear and things like that, is like so severely on par. Like, it's more on par than most other Western countries, or most Western countries, sorry. Considering it's like one of the farthest east countries. Okay, so Singapore, they, or, you know, Asia Pacific, they do a high production horror night or haunted mazes, combining Western Halloween motifs with local entertainment culture, which that in and of itself could be really neat and amazing, as long as, like I said, safety. You never know if the dude chasing after you is actually chasing after you with a chainsaw, or if the chain is removed or whatever the heck. So you just gotta be careful with all of it. I haven't really done too many haunted houses because I am a guess you can call me a conduit for spirits. So I feel things, and then if something jumps out, it just makes it that much worse. So I would just rather not do those things. But if y'all want to, far be it from me to stop you, of course. I'm here for it. I'm the freaking choir here, all right? Like, I love that people are celebrating what it could potentially be, in my opinion, like the best holiday of the year. And that's why I'm doing my first episode like this. Okay, I think it's Fête Gede. I don't speak French, so excuse me for this, but it's a Haitian festival celebrating the spirits of the dead, often called the Haitian Day of the Dead, celebrated early November. Involves rituals, music, and offerings to honor ancestors. And it says voodoo. I guess it's more kind of like the voodoo spirits like Papa Legba and Baron Samedi. Participants typically wear the colors black, purple, and white and offer items such as rum, cigars, and special foods. That is so freaking neat. Festival can include lively dances such as the banda dance, drumming, and chanting. Iwa, who is the spirit of death, and his wife Maman Brigitte. Oh man, this is so freaking cool. Sorry, I was reading up on that because I hadn't heard of that, and I just wanted to share with y'all, and I think that's pretty cool. That's really, really cool. And then you got countries like Sweden who are a little bit late to the ball game, but they're joining us in our celebration of Halloween. As many of you know, it has transformed largely from ritual and harvest festival to more of a pop culture holiday. I mean, especially when there's not a lot of people who actually farm anymore. However, you can still go and do the mazes. You can do the hay rides. You can do the pumpkin patches and things like that. And if you don't, then, I think you should do it. It's one of those things you should do like once in your life at least, to get a feel for, the old country, the old cultures and things. So we talked a lot about the veil between the worlds, global commercialization versus traditional rituals. So anytime you deal with something becoming a pop culture phenomenon, it loses a little bit of its luster. It loses a little bit of its spirit. And when things get commercialized, people start to turn against it. And so it's very popular to consider this a demonic holiday when it is not a demonic holiday. Spirits are not demons. Spirits are people who used to be alive, and they could one day be alive again. So why not treat them well while they're in the in-between? Okay, and then so versus traditional rituals, and that was my spiel on that. So what do y'all think about all this? Do y'all think I'm a little cuckoo for the things that I believe in? What do you believe? How do you celebrate Halloween? Have you ever heard of any of these rituals? Have you heard of different rituals? I'd love to get your take on it, especially before y'all start taking the kids out. Or after y'all take the kids out for trick-or-treating and you get loaded up with caffeine and the booglies and whatever else they got out there, ghoulies and the blood and all guts and all that kind of stuff. Tell me about what you did. Tell me about your parties. Tell me what you dressed as. Tell me what your kids dressed as. Tell me your favorite Halloween costume from when you were a kid, or as an adult. Tell me your favorite horror movie. Mine jumps so freaking much. Franchise-wise, Saw, because the story is so good until it gets to 3D. We don't talk about that. just like Bruno. We don't talk about that. Yeah, welcome back. Let's dive in. And until next time, stay spuggin' elite.